Hello everyone. Just to reintroduce myself, I'm Roddy Clarke. I'm a design writer and presenter, and a lot of my work looks at the environmental and social impacts of design. And I always love coming back to Bolon because every time I come back there's some new innovation that's happened, and it's really heartwarming to see a company that is, as we say, walking the talk. So it's really exciting to hear about some of those innovations tonight. But I think it would be really good to start if tonight we're talking a lot about materiality, and obviously PVC is the core material of Bolon flooring, and I think PVC is a material that comes up time and time again in the sustainability conversation. And it's a material that has been referred to as the workhorse of the modern economy, but it's got, as a material, it has many qualities which work in its favour. But it's our misuse of it. It's also, it's the way that we've handled it, which has caused many environmental issues. Do you feel as a material that it can reframe its narrative, and how is Bolon helping to do that?
I think it already has, because as you said, the history of PVC. When I was working at Greenpeace has actions against PVC, so I was very close to the heart of fighting against PVC. And there was reason for that. Because at that time the PVC had so much bad things in it, from production till the product itself, the additives, and afterwards. So I can understand that. I fully relate to it. However, in the situation we are now, the PVC, if you are under attack, like the PVC industry has been, you're trying to change something. I was working with a pulp and paper industry and was under attack for the chlorine bleaching of paper, and they changed to chlorine-free bleaching to the attack. And the same happens in the PVC industry. So now you have to clean up the production, and it's also the change when it comes to the additives. And we have played a major role for being the first to make the good change. So I would say that just now PVC has, in some places, a reputation that it doesn't earn any longer. It can earn it, it can be bad, some can be bad, but most of the PVC today and how it's treated, and of course our PVC, is a pretty good option out there, or a really good option out there. So yes, you can change that.
And obviously you as a company, you work with bio PVC, you call it bio PVC, recycle PVC. Talk us through those processes and what that means, and sort of more about the process of making that material.
Yeah, I can do it. If you think about it, when the PVC has these bad additives, the hormone disturbing phthalates, which people knows about, then you can't circle it because you don't want this hazardous substance back in your product. So first you have to clean up the situation, and that has done. So now we can actually buy really clean PVC waste and turn it into a really beautiful high-end product like our flooring. So that's possible now, but you need to clean the PVC first, otherwise you can't take the old shitty stuff in the new flooring. So you need to do that. And we found, it's not easy, but we have found a good waste stream that is clean, and then you can make the recycled PVC, and we put it in the backing. So 100%, it's 100% recycled PVC in the backside of our flooring. And then on the top layer, which you see here, the weave, you can't have mechanical recycled PVC, because if you have a plastic bag that's recycled, it's grayish and it's not nice. So you need to have another solution for the weave. And then we took the bio-sourced PVC out there, and then you make the PVC, instead of oil from the North Sea, you make it from just now used cooking oil, and make it this beautiful. So when you walk on that one now, it's made of used cooking oil, the bio PVC. So we take away the fossil component and we put in a renewable component, and also recycle the used cooking oil. And then you can make the same quality, the wear resistance, the color, everything. So you get the best of two worlds: the bio PVC on up front, and on the back side the recycled PVC. And that's what we have done. And now we have 100% bio PVC in all products, and we have 100% recycled PVC in the back in all products. So it means that there is no fossil PVC in any of our other products any longer. 2 years ago, it shifted.
And this is, why you're such an advocate for PVC being a part of a greener and circular future.
Yes, that's how. I think also it's interesting to see, because when PVC was the bad boy, I think it mainly comes from the 90s. But it still can be some bad boys around in some corner. But when it was, then we didn't have so much discussion about the climate. And now when we had a discussion about the climate, if you're then talking about the petrochemical components or the fossil component of plastic, in PVC there's roughly 40% oil to make the PVC. In our case it's recycled, but it could be oil. And in other plastic, polyethylene, polypropylene, polystyrene, polyester, there is close to 100% oil. So actually, you also have that shift when people start to look at with your climate classes. The PVC is the plastic with the lowest climate footprint, due to that there's so little portion of oil in the polymer. So that's also a new thing when you're coming now. When we in the last 10-15 years we have speak about the climate the climate.
And what would you say for architects and designers in the room who, where I think when we're looking at sustainable interior design, for instance, we prioritize natural materials, things like wood, cork for flooring. What would you say as an argument to push for them to specify PVC?
I would challenge that one, because if you think about it, first you have, I'm coming from the northern part of Sweden, which out in the forest picking mushroom. I've been really close to all the forest. But when you chop down the wood and you make flooring, there is you're going with the big machineries out in the forest, which is driven by diesel, and you're bringing it home, and then you have lots of process turning the timber into flooring. So there's lots of processes that really need fossil components to it. And then in the end, I would say that it's a matter of that any material should be circle. So for me, it doesn't matter if it's some unnatural material when you have made plastic from oil, if you then keep it in the cycle. It's a technical cycle. Think about metals. You take a rock and you make copper. You take a rock and you make iron or steel. You take a rock or you make aluminium. Then you have something that is unnatural. Copper doesn't exist on planet. Metal doesn't exist as metals. There's one metal that exists free out on the planet, and that's gold. And it's very rare that you find it. But you see that's technical material. You need to then have it in a closed loop cycle. It is the same with plastic. So I don't distinguish so much about if it's natural material or is it not, because you need to have it in a cycle. And then you see, I shouldn't bring, because I like the wooden floor can be great, but when you have a wooden floor, it's very heavy per square meter compared with some kind of polymer flooring. Mm-hmm. I think our flooring is 3 to 4 kilo per square meter, and a wooden floor, solid wood floor can be 12, 15, 20 kilo per square meter. So it's lots of resources you built in. And then you maybe need to sanding the wood, and then you maybe have put some treatment on it during the lifestyle, and then you can see from the PVC flooring, you don't do that. You just clean it with water. So you have to see, if you see a full life cycle, there is also lots of unnatural components in a wood floor, and also in cork floor and such. And then you have discussed, and when you have used the wooden floor or the cork floor, it needs to be in a cycle.
Yeah. And do you feel that, because this is obviously an important consideration when we are specifying materials and products.
Yes.
What other factors should we be assessing when we're specifying materials?
I think it's I think that the resource efficiency it's a matter, and of course you shouldn't speak so much about if it's recyclability. You should, because it must be recycled. Because many times you also see that this can be recycled. And then you ask, will it be recycled? And then the answer is no. So I think you need to also see that you have something that really can be in a cycle. And then you also need to be that it is in a clean cycle, so it's not hazardous substances in the value chain, that toxic, the planetary circularity. And on top of that, of course, it need to be with less or non-climate footprint. I think this one you need to deal with. And we could continue because if we come into forest, you have how sustainable forestry and so on. So there's lots of questions into this one. But I think you have to look at the full value chain.
I think you're right. I mean, it's such a nuanced conversation. There's so many facets to sustainability.
Yeah.
What sustainability really means is evolving and changing all the time. But I think it's really interesting when we consider a material like this and how you're really pioneering a new sort of age of PVC and reframing it in a new light. I think also when we talk, you speak about circularity and a lot of what has failed so far is not having the systems in place to take materials back, and we'll come on to that a bit later when we talk about the take back scheme. But I think it'll be great to hear your story, I think. How did it all start at Greenpeace? And talk to us about your journey from Greenpeace and now, which has led you to Bolon today.
Thank you for the question. It's such a strange thing. Now you're here, listen to me talk about sustainability. You know, I've been working with sustainability. In 1st December this year, I've been working for 41 years, and then I feel like I'm 25, so it's a really tricky one. But I have been working professional my full life. I'm an organic chemist, study up in Umeå University up in northern part of Sweden. But I have had the opportunity to work full-time my full professional life. That's such a great thing. And I came to Greenpeace and Greenpeace just opened their office in Gothenburg, and I knocked the door and said, "Hi, can I be with?" And then I was one of the 4 people who's actually building up Greenpeace in Sweden. And then my father said to me, "Håkan, don't you throw away your education. Now you're going to be seen as a troublemaker the rest of your life." I said, and I said, I see the risk, because that was the situation with Greenpeace in '84. I see the risk, but I have to take it. And now I'm sitting here 41 years later. So it had been such a journey. And if I then say something about my journey at Greenpeace, you know, in my CV, I've been involved or in charge in plus 20 direct action with Greenpeace. So that's a special thing to have that knowledge and experience. And one of the first one with people was say something about the boat. I was one of the first one. I think it was in '85. I was chained to a big vessel coming with organic lead that you put in your cars to have it. The car was running better. And organic lead, you know, you're dying with 1 to 5 grams, and this boat had 5,000 tons. And I had my survivor suit and jumped in the water and chained myself to the rudder. I ended up 8 hours at Uddevalla police station. But it has been very, very interesting to be involved and all this kind of. I've also been involved with the Greenpeace Beluga, the laboratory vessel. I've been a chemist on board from Basel to the North Sea, taking water sample around the Rhine the whole way, and lots of other stuff, which has been great. And then if you're coming, next time my people ask me, it's when 1990, I say, I'm not going to be an environmental consultant. What's that? There I think it was two or three environmental consulting in Sweden. And I said, Håkan, that sounds fun, but what are you going to live on? Still here, living. And what was also a relevant question. But then had been my career. So I've been a consultant for 30 years, and the last 6 years I've been at head of sustainability at Bolon. So now I'm not a consultant any longer. I'm in the organization. This is the first time, because I really love the companies. I have to be in the organization, and I'm in the management team and so on. And also have staff for the first time. You don't have staff as a consultant.
Yeah.
So So that, and at my consultant time, I've been working, you know, with IKEA, with H&M. I've been working with Electrolux. I've been working with Stockholm City, with Malmö City. I've been with huge global companies, American companies, Swedish companies, and I've also been in small municipalities up in the northern part of Sweden and so on. I've been in so many places. You can imagine if you have been consulting for 30 years. And you have maybe 10 different kind of assignment every year. So 10 times 30, you have been around to many places. So I'm so pleased about that. And also, it has been a privilege to be a part of the movement towards a better planet.
And I think, you know, activism, especially from an environmental standpoint, has, you know, increased a lot in recent years.
Yeah.
And I mean, does that sort of spirit of activism still fuel a lot of your passion today in what you're doing and the work you're doing?
Maybe not so much the activists, but the passion to making a change, to making something that really matters, to really reduce the climate footprint from Bolon. Or I was working with the change in the whole IT department at H&M. You know, that was also great to see all the IT equipment in the global H&M world. It was also wonderful to be a part of that kind of change. So that's really. I'm not. No, I'm 60 plus. I'm not the activist. I don't change myself to a Roddy any longer.
But in terms of, do you think there's more that can be done to build that bridge between activism and business? Do you think?
Yeah, I think much more could be done. And I have to say that if you see the change, the climate change around us, I'm surprised that we don't have any tougher, more radical green movement. I don't see that they have changed. I think in the 80s it was maybe sometimes tougher than compared with today, but we have a more serious problem when it's come to if we just bring up the climate. So I'm a little surprised that is not more professional activists out there. And then, of course, you need also that the component when you're pushing the companies to make it the change. Like, for example, you know, the PVC industry or the pulp and paper industry, they actually have to do the change because they are under pressure.
Yeah. And it's, you know, it's understanding, you know, the power of influence as well, and influencing business, and then businesses have the power to, you know, hopefully influence government, and it's, you know, it's all about understanding your circle of influence, right?
Yeah, and if you bring it up, when I was started at Greenpeace, it was that I was forcing the legislator, the authorities, the government or what body, but it was an official body, that they should say something and stop the industry. But now when you have this green business, Bolon can't make business without taking into the green components when it comes to climate and circularity. We need to have it because that's also when we make business. So suddenly you can work directly with business. In the 80s, you have to take you have to say to the authorities that they want to take the hammer and knock the industry, so they change because they were reluctant to change. Yeah. And now we are in total special thing. But now you all are voting with your wallet. You do lots of choices. You buy the organic coffee, or you buy your electric car, or whatever it can be, or you buy your eco cotton garments and so on.
And understanding the impact.
Yeah. So it's really, I think that the commercial part of changing is now the biggest part. It's not the legislative body. It's actually the more business-driven part. That is the biggest power for change.
Yeah, business and sustainability goes hand in hand. You know? It's
and that was not the case in the 80s. Maybe not in 1990s, but now it is. It's very clear, and that's a very positive thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Gives you hope.
Yeah, and I think that brings us back nicely to the work that you've sort of achieved at Bolon over the last 6 years that you've been there.
Yep.
Talk to us about some of the sort of the implementations that you've carried out in terms of shifting the business model and you know, making it more circular. There's the solar powered factory that you have as well.
And here comes you know, when you work with sustainability, and I've been working as a consultant. And one very, very grey word that is very, very important to have success, that's the system boundaries. Because if you look at sustainability, if you look in this room and we're trying to find how many different parts of sustainability we can find in this building, this room, in what we're eating, what we're drinking, our garment, and the light is here, and it's the building, and the concrete to build the building, and continue. Maybe we're going to find a list with 1,000 different kind of sustainability aspects. And we can't work with 1,000 aspects. It's impossible. And in business environment, you can't do that. So you need to focus. So what I was brought into to Bolon was that we need to find a focus. And for our part, it was environment, because you also have a social components of sustainability. But being a Swedish company, local based, we saw that the social thing is doing great. We don't have any child workers or something. Sorry, I shouldn't joke about it, but you see. So we decided that environment is the part, and it's environment related to the product, and it's the climate and circularity related to product. And suddenly you have the system boundaries, and you have your laser beam focus. And when you have done that, you can actually achieve something. And that's the way I developed Bolon. And now we have tremendous result, but you can't achieve that if you're still out there working with 1,000 different aspects, which is easy to do, because from a planet point of view, all the 1,000 aspects are important. But you have to take, I choose not to do this 500 aspects, and I do these 2 aspects. And that's a tough question to do, but if you don't do it, you won't achieve anything. That's my way of dealing with it, and that's the way we work at Bolon. And then it's so much more easy to integrate the sustainability in the business, which is crucial to do it, so you can achieve results.
I think that's really fascinating, because I think, also when it comes to the sustainability conversation, businesses are scared to talk about it because they don't want to be seen as imperfect. And I think it's about, accepting the fact that no business is ever 100% perfect. It's an evolving journey, and it is about tackling one thing at a time. But I think also it would be really good to hear about the Take Back scheme, because this is really pivotal for the brand, but also the wider industry. It would be great to hear about how it's going to run and work.
Yeah, and if you see here, we have been discussing, because I think I've been discussing Take Back nearly close to the first day I came to Bolon, because to make Take Back happen, it's a logistic thing, it's a handling thing. It's not a technical issue. It's about, you have a floor installed somewhere in the world. We are operating in 60 markets, and suddenly this floor, someone decided to take it out. We don't know. We have no chance. We don't know when our customer will stop using our floors. And then they need to call us, hi, I have a floor. Can you take it back? And then, how do I de-install it? How do I pack it? And where do I send it? And how can we deal with import, export, borders, customs? Because when you import or export waste, that's a really tricky question. And it should be, because when you have the waste smuggling of for example, IT equipment to Africa, we have lots of things going the wrong way. So the authorities are really, really hard on how when you put waste over a border, there's much of regulation. So we're coming about the distribution, the handling, and the responsibility. It's so many non-technical questions, and that's why we have. How can we deal with that? But suddenly we did it the Bolon way. We don't wait any longer. We do it, and we do it ourselves. It would be great if the whole branch, all the flooring company was making it at the same time globally. It won't happen. So then we decided that we go all in, and we take back all floorings to our factory in Risaham. So if it's here in UK, we take it to Risaham. If it's in California, we take it to Risaham. If it's in Sydney, where we also have operate, we take it back. If it's in South Korea, we take it back. If it's Spain, we take it back. So everything we take back, because we have a recycling plant, so we can promise that we make a new floor over old floor. And we can promise that if the customers also participate with responsibility, and that the responsibility is, don't use permanent adhesives. take a tape solution. And if you use a tape solution, we take it back. And it means that roughly now, I think the tires is more often tape compared with the rolls. And we sell roughly 1/3 of what we sell. 30%, 40% we sell is tires. So roughly we could, from now on, take back 30-40% of what we do if the customers decided not to use permanent adhesives. So we need to be on board of this two side. I hope we can even change it. Maybe we can take the permanent adhesives in the future, or we take going back to, or we have tape solution, magnet solution, we have other solution, we have the tackifier, the sticky glues that you also can have, and then we take back rolls and everything also, and then we're coming up to 100%. So, but now we have, as a first step, we're going to say in the 13th of November, so you are the first one to hear it, we will say we're going to have take back flooring. And here comes also for all OECD countries. Because countries outside OECD, there is a ban within the European Union, and Sweden is a part of the European Union, and we have our factory there. There is not allowed to take waste outside the OECD countries. So that's the boundaries we have. But still, it will be that we can take back, or we can operate, I think, on 90% of all our markets. So that's that's the decision we took. First we said maybe we should go carefully and we do it for Sweden, and then it's a nice thing, and it's a bold company with two sisters and all, and we do bold stuff. If you see it also when the bio PVC, it's a really high-end, premium, costly material. Shall we have a green red shoe collection here and the rest is normally PVC, or shall we have half of the top layer? 50% or 25% because it's too costly. No, we go all in. And that's the way, I think, also the culture. So suddenly we're going to go all in. So bring it back to us.
Yeah, it's a really interesting scheme, and I'm sure there'll be many practical questions which we'll get a chance to come to in a second. But I think it'll be a good time now maybe for you to talk us through your short presentation, actually. Yeah. Which would be good.
So, and this is more and more right. It's our tagline. We are pushing recycling in the design industry, and we really do. As I said, this take-back scheme, nobody has seen that kind of thing. Such a small company with a turnover of 350 million SEK and 100 people operating in one factory in Sweden, but we do. So we have a vision, and here it comes back. This how to have the system boundaries. Look here. We offer supreme products. It's all about the products. It's not about being a nice green company. It's about deliver a green product to our customers. That's a part of circular material flow. Circularity, safe for human and nature, no hazardous substances, no emission from the flooring whatsoever, and then zero climate impact. So it's a very, someone maybe laugh here, but I have a favorite word. It's a very crispy vision. And then we come into the focus, as I told you about. And here's also an interesting thing, because when I was working at Greenpeace, I learned the focus, because it's the same at Greenpeace. So when I was working at Greenpeace, Greenpeace said that I was head of toxic department, and it was everything about chemicals and emission discharge. And then we said, how will we differentiate, or how can we focus with the stuff we have? And then we decided we go for man-made chemicals, hazardous substances that man-made, hasn't been in nature before, and discharge into water. So not up to the air, not the nutrients into the Baltic or something like that. It's man-made chemicals discharged into water. And this also fits us because Greenpeace has 5, 6, 7 boats operated. And when you do that such a focus, then you can also have all the toxic campaigners around globally work on the same way, and you get real result. So you really to have it. So I have it with me for my Greenpeace period time. It's really, really important to focus and dare to take away lots of important questions, because you need to find where can we make the change. And then, of course, we want to have the numbers, so we make a life cycle analysis for all our product, and then look here, 2/3 of the climate footprint is the raw material. 2/3. So let's do something about the big one. And we did. So first, as we discussed, we have floor safe for human and nature, and you need to clean up hazardous substances, otherwise you can't have circularity, you can't have anything. And we did it. I think the last toxic thing we had, or hazardous thing we had, we took away 12 years ago. And then we decided to take a path that nobody takes. Think about when you go and you're buying your milk in the grocery. Then you can buy normal milk or organic milk, side by side. And from the same companies can it also be. And if you go in and you buy a new car, you can have a petrol car, electric car, side by side. And if you look around, that's always the case. And you have lots of companies, we have this green option and we have the rest. But we decided that we don't go that path, we go the Bolon path. So we take the same environmental performance in everything we do, in every square meter, in every color, in every pattern, in every collection. All floors. And then, of course, we built our own integrated recycle plant. And it's that we have that we can go with this bold announcement to take back. Otherwise, we couldn't work, because that recycling plant has been operating in 2012 and is specialist on taking care of our own floors. We know exactly what we do. And then we have the own solar power production. I think this is great. Look here. This is a factory roof. It's 3,010 panels on the roof. I have a house in Sweden with 24 panels, and I think that's maybe a little bit more than average in a private housing. And here's 3,010. And here you can see this is actually the total production in 2.5 years, close to 3 million kilowatt hours. And this was the numbers from this Monday, now it's Wednesday. So it's very, very accurate. And then we have saved 1,000 tons of CO2 by having this on a factory roof. And with that we can operate the 1/3 of the electricity need in the factory we can have from the roof, because we need more electricity. And then we buy certified hydroelectric renewable electricity from the grid. So that means that we have a 100% climate neutral factory, because we just have green electricity. We don't have any fossil, we don't have any gas, we don't have any gas when running the trucks, we don't have any gas for making heat, we have heat pumps. So it's just green electricity. So I think this 3 million, I think that what we have produced here is equal to 1,000 compartment annual need here in London. So it's it's one of the biggest in Sweden that we have on this roof. But then we're pushing. It's not enough. So let's go, take it further. And here we come. We had a discussion about the biosourced PVC and also the PVC as such. But we decided then, as you see, to have the biosourced PVC in the weave, because then we can have the quality, the strength, the wear resistance, the color, the patterns perfectly, because there's 100% the same by making the quality from the fossil-based PVC or the bio-based PVC. It's 100% the same quality. And then we decided to go for 100% recycled PVC in all backing. And that's a tougher one, I would say. Because that first one here, it was tough because it's a premium product you have to pay. The last one here, it didn't exist. We couldn't do it because we couldn't find the waste. And then Mario, our material expert and the head of product development, he came to me and said, Håkan, I think I know how we do it. And this is a great innovation. So in the first, now I will be a little bit more technical, but I want to tell you about it. It's the first time in the history, as far as I can tell, that when you have rigid PVC waste, like from plumbing tubes, that part, or window frames, that kind of waste, hard, rigid things. But we use flexible PVC. And the flexible PVC, you need then to have plasticizer, and you need to make it flexible. And there was nobody who can turn rigid PVC waste into a flexible recycled raw material. And then Mario is coming, saying, I think I have it. And he did. So now, due to that, I think we are now reaching our goal 5 years ahead of time. So it's really a Bolon innovation to make that happen. And then on top of that, when you have this kind of product, it's 45% chalk in the product. And that makes the product stable and it gets the right quality of it. And then we decided to take marble slabs production waste. When you cut the marble, and you can say like you we have a saw and a tree and you got waste. When you cut it, it comes waste on the floor. And that waste has now been turned into our flooring. So our CEO, she says to me, Håkan, am I walking on marble? Yeah. A nicer feeling, I would say, but it actually is 100% recycled chalk from the marble slabs production in our product. And you see here, I think that this one, 28% 2022 is such a great number when it says it's everything we do. We don't have a green collection, as I said. But then we first started with the chalk, and then we got 48%. And then we added the recycled PVC and the bio PVC, which from the used cooking oil. And now we are 68% recycled material in every square meter, in everything we do. And when you do that, when you have the bio PVC and the recycled PVC, they comes with minus a negative climate footprint, because you don't have to produce new PVC. You can take the old PVC, and it means that we're coming down to zero climate impact from the products and for the production. The production, it was a solar electricity. So we actually has come down 68% or up 68% recycled material and down zero climate impact. You remember this picture? This bulk, the 63%. So to be transparent to you now, it's the zero that I speak about, is the raw materials here. Because then you have a transport to customers, you have the installation at customers, you have the cleaning, the usage as a phase, and then you have after use. So 1/3 of the climate footprint in the value chain is still out there. And then you see, of course, now this is the biggest one. So then there we're talking about the take back. So this is actually the recycling plant. Maybe not so fancy, but we are very proud of it, and it really works well. So, as I said, we have the global take back as we just presented on all non-permanent installed floorings and rugs. Every floor is turned into new floors, because I think when you look around, this is really, really important. There is no downgrading. An old floor becomes a new floor. Simple as that. And nearly 100% of the material will become a new floor. I got a question today. I got a lot of tricky questions from different parts when I've been here now, with experts speaking with me. And they said, how much? And I think there will always be some residue, some waste. So say that 95% of the material will actually turn into new flooring. That's what we have seen and what operate. There's some waste residue that comes to old process when you work with this. But if you look, you can find competitors out there that's maybe, I've seen numbers that where 20% is going to be reused and recycled. And 80% they have to throw away. They haven't taken it back, but it was impossible to make new things out of it. The climate gain of recycling is always much bigger than the climate impact of transport use, because this is one of the most common questions, because we all think that the transportation is the biggest thing when it comes to climate. It's not it's not necessary that's how it is. And then we decided to take a third-party calculation of this environmental product declaration we have, and said to the company who made that, these consultant companies who made this calculation, can you calculate the impact of this one? How much positive and negative was eats up of the transportation? So this is a brand new number that I got on Monday morning, and it's Wednesday evening now. Here. So the material saving will be of 100 square meters tires is 800 kilo CO2. And the cost for making it happen, you need to reduce it with 10%, 80 kilo. So it's such a clear thing. And this, I would say, it goes for everything. If you take your milk carton, I don't know how it's here, but now I've become a little bit more Swedish. We have the recycling of packaging in Sweden. And people comes to me, I think from the last 30 years, the most common question is, but Håkan, if I take this empty bottle to this for recycling, is it okay? Is it okay? Does it actually be a positive thing? You know, I had some warm water when I was cleaning it, and I took the car to this place. Think if it's going to be minus. It's never, ever, ever minus. You can see when you're recycling material, it's always a really, really good thing. So, recycling material in every square meter, very proud. Zero climate impact from floors and production, you know, from the raw material. 100% biosourced and recycled PVC in all products. It means that we have zero fossil-based plastic in our product because it's recycled or bio. It's zero fossil. Zero coming from oil in the North Sea. Zero. And of course, hazard-free product. It's couldn't operate without that. Long-lasting material and no special treatment during lifespan and low impact. I have my special example, and it's also from Sweden. In Sweden we have the photographic museum, and it's the heaviest traffic in any museum in Sweden. They open 7 days a week, and there's so many people there. Both for the museum and the restaurant, there's live music, there's lots of things happening there. They have had our Bolon flooring for 14 years. And they can, as it looks, we can have them 14 new years. And they saw it as a good flooring. So when they exported the photographic museum concept to Berlin, it's the Bolon flooring. To Shanghai, it's the Berlin flooring. And I think we're going to New York with the Bolon flooring. But it's interesting to see because such a traffic and still, so you can see if it wasn't be so resistant, it would, you know, we have the 3-dimension effect on all our flooring when you walk on them. So if that had been not so good, it would be flat at this time after 14 years of working on it. But it's not. And we, as I said, take back this one. And of course, that's why Bolon is your most sustainable choice in flooring. And of course the design we are proud of. So, thank you. Open for questions.